So I plan to do a whole video talking about the new Rolex releases for 2023 that were announced yesterday at Watches and Wonders, which I'll probably still do because some of them are frankly, well, let's say, interesting. But then I noticed something that Tudor had done, and for me, I think this should be the real story from day one of Watches and Wonders. I think this is huge, but nobody seems to be talking about it. So if you're new to the channel, my name's Simon and I like to talk about watches. And if you like watches too, then hit that subscribe button and go back and check out some of my other videos later. So there's been a lot of focus on the new Rolex releases for 2023. And whereas last year, I think that Tudor almost overshadowed its big brother with the release of that root beer GMT and of course the Black Bay Pro. However, this time, I think all of the focus has been on Rolex. So much so that Tudor's releases have seemed a little mundane in comparison. I mean, there's been some hype around that new Black Bay GMT, the one with the opaline dial. But for me, all they've really done is change the dial colour. I would have liked to have seen that in a slimmer case, maybe even reduced down to 39mm like the Black Bay Pro. Interestingly, and as you might know if you watched any of my videos leading up to the show, I'd had it on good authority that Tudor was going to release a polar dial version of the Black Bay Pro. Now, either my source was off the mark, or from what they'd seen, they'd wrongly assumed that we were going to get a white dial Black Bay Pro, when actually what they were looking at were parts for a new opaline dial GMT. But I'd also heard that a new Black Bay and Black Bay 41 were both in development, and sure enough, this week Tudor launched both. The entry-level Black Bay, or should I say the one with the fixed bezel, has a revised case which is now smoother and sleeker, and it also comes with a new bracelet, a 5-link Jubilee-style bracelet with a T-fit clasp. The Black Bay 41 with the dive bezel also has a curvier case, and that one's also now available on the Jubilee-style bracelet or on a rubber strap. The movement has been upgraded to be METAS certified, like that Black Bay ceramic that I own, so not only is it more accurate, but it has a higher magnetic resistance too. This one's only available with a burgundy bezel, for now anyway. But the new model that I expected to hear more talk about is the new Black Bay 54. So in the run-up to Watches and Wonders 2022, I remember hearing a lot of people saying how they'd really love to see a new version of the TUDOR Submariner. Well, with that new Black Bay 54, that's exactly what Tudor has done. The clue is in the name, and the size. The TUDOR Oyster Prince Submariner, reference 7922, was Tudor's first ever dive watch. It was called the Oyster Prince because it used the Rolex Oyster case, and if the Rolex Submariner was the king, then the TUDOR Submariner had to be the prince. Not only did it use a Rolex case, but the bracelet was stamped with Rolex too, and it was really only the Fleurier movement that separated it from being a Rolex. It was launched in 1954, and it had a 37mm case. The new Black Bay 54 also has a 37mm case. Can you see where I'm going here? And it's a slimmer case even than the Black Bay 58. And with that new gilt-edge handset, with that lollipop-style seconds hand, and the font style they've used for the numerals on the dive bezel, I think what we've got here is a re-release of the Oyster Prince Submariner, in all but name. And if they'd called it the TUDOR Submariner, this would be the only release from Watches and Wonders that anyone would be talking about. But of course, the Hans Wilsdorf Foundation is never going to let the sacred Submariner name appear on anything else again other than a Rolex. Instead, the significance of this new release seems to be lost on everyone, including the watch media and all of the YouTube channels that I follow. But what do you think? Tell me in the comments and click that thumbs up button. Oh, and don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. There's loads of stuff like this still to come.